Welcome to Black Tech Voices, the podcast that amplifies the journeys, challenges, and triumphs of Black IT professionals in the diaspora. From breaking barriers to driving innovation, we're sharing real stories, real struggles, and real success in the world of tech and digital careers. Tune in, get inspired, and be part of the movement. Black Tech Voices, where our stories matter.
Hello, everyone. So we're back at Black Tech Voices today, and you guys know that we actually discuss brilliant topics and educational topics that helps people to understand what's project management. So most of the topics we're looking at the moment are project management related topics, and it's Black Tech Voices. So we bring in the Black professionals to come in and talk and just share their experience. And these are guys who've had lots and lots of experience, and they are masters in their authority in their fields. So today we have Mr. Paul Gabriel. He has been working as a senior business analyst for many years as well. So he's on the platform, is with us at Black Tech Voices.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Funshaw.
So thank you so much for coming and stopping by. I know you're very busy, but thank you so much for stopping by. So the topic we're looking at today is requirement gathering, and we also call it requirement elicitation. But before we delve into that, how have you been? How is work?
Thank you, Mr. Funshaw. Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you're listening to this podcast. Work is fine. It has its ups and downs, good days, bad days. Some days you just want to get things done, and sometimes you're not getting all the information that you need or you desire to do. But other than that, it's the typical, I just call it a typical day as a tech person. Nothing ever goes to plan. So you also find a way of pivoting to the left or pivoting to the right to get things done. That's why we're here. And we're in the environment that we're in. Every business, every client, every organization is trying to be first to the market. They want to be the innovators that they come to the market. So the competition is very strong, but you just have to adjust with it. And sometimes in the midst of the whole chaos, it's quite fun. It's quite fun. You enjoy it afterwards. But so work is fine, and I'm fine myself, and I'm enjoying my work. I cannot complain. It's been a journey, but
brilliant. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. That's really good. I'm happy that you're in a good place. And yes, challenges would always be there. And I think that's the big beauty of life as well, because life comes with challenges, and challenges will always be there. But as long as we are resilient and keep pushing ahead, and it's very important for us to keep pushing and not give up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm really happy that you're in a good place. So thank you once again. Now, I think just going into it, and before we start talking about requirement gathering and requirement elicitation, I would like you to actually share with people on what's your journey like into tech. How did you transition to become a tech specialist? Because at the moment you're an authority within that field. So what actually encouraged you how did you transition into tech?
My transitioning or me going into tech, first of all, let's put it out there. I don't have any technical skills in terms of coding, software. I know nothing about it. While I was at university, I went to University of Bedfordshire. I did my first degree there studied marketing, and afterwards took 6 months off and came back to do my master's. Originally, funny enough, I watched something during the what's it called Brexit era, David Cameron. And that was when I read something. I said, "Oh, why don't you go into cybersecurity?" I said, "I have no skill. I don't know anything about cyberspace." And I said, "Okay, let me give it a try." I contacted the university. They said, "You can do it so long as you can use computer, you can read, and you can research. You'll be fine." But that wasn't the case. It was a different kettle of fish. I struggled with it to the point that I had to leave that course and swap my course for a more research-driven course which is in business. I now did international relations management and diplomacy, my master's. When I left there, I did work here and there, but I just didn't feel that satisfaction that I want to get, the impact towards people's life. And I met a friend who now became my wife. And through her, I got introduced to another friend of theirs who's been with Avenue Impact for a few years. And then they said, give it a go. You're natural for this. Just give it a go. And I started in the training and I've enjoyed it ever since then. Yes, there were times that it was quite tough trying to break that mold. But once you get into that swing of things, it was really good. So my transition was tricky, none. But once I got the training out and I was fully equipped by Avenue Impact, it was easier for me to now start seeing it. Because some of the things I now said, oh, this was how it should have been done. Oh, that old moment now kicks in. You look as if you now said, I should have thought about it that way in the first place. But if you don't have the skills and the knowledge, see, that's why that saying comes, what you don't know, you don't really know. But when you get equipped for something, you become an expert in that thing. So I didn't know it then, but I knew it. I didn't know how to channel it into the business or the tech industry. But now that I have the idea of the knowledge of it, it becomes a lot easier. The industry might be different, but the core foundation is still the same. Once you know the basics, you can go into any industry. That's how I see it.
Thank you so much. That's very interesting in transitioning on your journey on how you transition into tech, and especially as a Black professional. I know you're saying that you're not technical, you're not a developer, but you're an IT professional, you're a tech professional as well. Because of course, not everybody have their own contribution, their own responsibilities within the project. So if you were a developer, you're not going to be a business analyst. So, but everybody work together, to of course deliver a solution. So thank you. So like I said, the topic we're looking at, today is requirement elicitation or requirement gathering. So what does that mean from your experience? So to you, what does that mean? What is requirement gathering? What's requirement elicitation?
Well, in our tech world, in our industry, for me and my personal point is that when you hear the word requirement elicitation or requirement gathering,
or in project and within the project
in the project environment, what that means for me is that you need to understand what the business wants to do, the direction the business is coming from, and where they want to go to. Because in most cases, the business have an idea. It's an idea where they want to go to, but they don't know how to get there. So you as the business analyst, you now have to drill down questions or their understanding to figure out what exactly would they want. Elicitation means to elicit, to make inquiry, to ask for something. Same way to gather. You're asking to gather information, and then with that information, you decipher what is useful, what is not, what is important, and who to work with. And it's a broad word, elicitation, but at the same time, it can also be shrunk down to the 4 basic things, which is one, understanding where the business is coming from. The second one is understanding their end goal. And the third one is to understand people you need to work with to achieve that end goal. And 4, get everyone into a buy-in to have that same vision that the business have in achieving those success. Those 4 goals, those 4 key elements are what I see. Understand where the business is coming from. The business asks you, I want to develop software that you can use motion sensor or motion control to get for our clients or to end users to use our product. You want to do this product. Purpose question you now ask, what's going to be the benefits to you as a business? Some might say, want to be the innovators, the first to market to this product, so we want to be the pace setters. Some might say, just want to make it for profit. Then you ask another question, what will be the benefits to the user itself? So what would they gain in using this product? The third question, again, you know, ask what will be benefit as it is for both the business and the user, because there have to be an alignment between the business and the user. It's not about creating a product or selling a product to the market. There is a middle ground. How are they going to use this product to achieve what you want them to achieve? That's where the layers start coming into play. Ask the business, why do you want to do this? What do you aim to achieve? How do you expect them to use it? These are part of the eliciting processes that you need to do. You ask questions to gain understanding of their thought process, where they're going to. Then you now place yourself as the end user. You create that persona to tell yourself, if I were to be this person that's going to be using this product, how would I want to use it? This is how they want us to do it. This is how they want it to be delivered. But if I were to be in that place, how would I use it? So by creating the persona or placing yourself in one role or the other, you get to understand where the business is coming from and where the end users are going to be coming from. So that's where it gives you the grounds to ask the kind of question you should be asking. And then you work with people. As an IT professional, you can never, ever, ever do anything on your own. You have to collaborate with a team. It has to be a team effort, a team spirit, a team event for you to get that requirement done. By setting up meetings, by doing interviews, by observing people while they're talking, taking notes. Instead of seminars, sometimes your stakeholders might not even have that time. Send them questionnaires. If you were to be using this product, as you use that, what would you want to see? Let them give you the answers that they have. And with that, you can analyze those responses to put it into a document and have a playback to them. That's how the elicitation process works. Ask questions, understand the business mind, understand the user's mind, understand the team's effort, then have a playback to know if it is feasible for you as a team to deliver that. So that's how
Fantastic. You've spoken a lot, and I think you've also addressed some of the questions I was going to ask as well, so which is really, really good. But what I've taken from what you said in terms of elicitation and requirement elicitation, requirement gathering in project environments is asking questions. Asking the right question, and you highlighted 4 things in terms of when you are asking questions, a business analyst needs to take note of where business is coming from, and then also needs to have at the back of his or her mind on the end goal and also the people. So which means people that you're working with and you're going to elicit or inquire information from or requirements from. And then also final is ensuring that you also get their buy-in, which are very key and they are valid points that you've highlighted. But there are techniques that we use to elicit requirements effectively as well. So do you want to maybe touch on those techniques? What techniques as someone who is a business analyst? I know some of our audience, people that are listening to us or watching us at the moment, some of them are new to this field. Some of them are actually working as well, but they want to learn. So what are those techniques that a business analyst or a project consultant would generally use, or someone who is performing the business analysis role? What techniques will this person use to elicit or gather or inquire requirements or inquire information from stakeholders?
There are quite a few of them. The list is endless. There's no one technique that fits any project.
Yes.
Depends on your audience and your stakeholders that you inquire for. One of the techniques is commonly used is called the interview technique, where you conduct an interview. I don't normally want to call it interview. I say have a meeting with your stakeholders. You set up a time, arrange a time and a date with them, and then you ask them questions about what they want or the product that they want to deliver, the project that you're going to be delivering, and then they start giving you answers. You might have a list of questions that you've compiled that you want to ask them to get clarification and understanding from where they're coming from. Another one is where you can take things to do a questionnaire. You set some prearranged questions regarding the product that you're going to be doing, and then you can now send them out for them to give you feedback. They will give feedback, answer the questions, and then send it back to you. That depends on, especially if you are doing user group products that you're trying to get the user's ability or the buy-in from the user, how they're going to use it. That's where that technique is good at. But another most common one is when you're having a seminar. You arrange a seminar. Some call it the PI planning, or some people just call it where everyone sits in a room and then we'll now literally dissect the product that we're going to be doing, or the project we're going to be delivering, and we ask questions and the what ifs. They give you access, and then you see if you think that you've got blockers or you don't have any clarification on that, you ask more questions. So you've got the interview, you got the questionnaire, you've got the seminar, you've got the workshops that you can act, and sometimes you can also do what we call observation. You've got a senior BA or a lead BA that is taking the lead on that, and you want to observe what they're doing, how they ask questions, because sometimes a lot of the information you get are not even spoken. The body language and in the atmosphere will tell you what they actually say. Some people say things, the body language says something different. Again, one has to be very discerning. That's what I say. As a business analyst, you have to have an open mind, but at the same time, you observe every little things that happen within your space. So I talked about the interview, I've talked about the questionnaires, I've talked about the workshop or seminars, and one other one that you want to do, I've talked about shadowing. I thought another one you're going to do is shadowing. You shadow what your other colleagues are doing. See how they have been doing things. Another one is document analysis. You don't have a stake. It's a product that has been going on prior to you joining the project. So what you do, no one has that time to bring you up to speed in real time because everyone's busy doing their own thing. They now send you some files and documentation. You now have to read those documents, analyze, digest it, and now start analyzing the document from what meets the requirements that the business wants and start pulling them together. You might have 100 pages of document. Please, guys, no, not every project you have 100 pages of document. You might have 2-3 pages here and there. All you might need to do is just extract one column that really fits the purpose of what you're doing, and you start extracting, analyzing those documents, and having a compilation of what you need that is relevant and important to that product. So that's it. Different kinds of techniques, different products you're doing, or different projects you're doing, depending on what you're trying to achieve. But any one of them will work in any product. That's how
Thank you so much. Thank you. You highlighted, you even mentioned the documents analysis, which is very good point, because some people will actually think that requirement elicitation also only relies on interviewing and speaking to people. But like you said, sometimes you join a team and a document will be handed over to you, and your manager or your line manager or whoever you're reporting to will ask you to extract requirements from that document. You're not talking to anybody, so you need to study the requirement and extract requirements out of that document. So I think one project that we're doing at the moment, we've developed a UI, a UX. Our UX designer have actually developed that particular document solution. And what I did was just handed it over to the business analyst and said, this is the UI, study it, and then document requirements on what you understand in terms of the flow. And so those are very valid points. Interview is really good. I think that's the most common one. You mentioned observation. Workshop is also good. Brainstorming session, you can extract requirements from there. Shadowing, and also questionnaire, like you said. And I think you also mentioned, so we mentioned shadowing and document analysis. So those are really good points on the techniques that we use to elicit requirements. Now, in terms of some situations where stakeholders are unsure or they are not clear of requirements. So how do you deal with such situation, or maybe if you've experienced that, how have you dealt with it? Or how would a business analyst from your experience deal with a situation where stakeholders are not sure of, they are unsure of what their requirement is?
Some stakeholders, again, sometimes I call it they're lost in transit. They've got too many things coming through them, the multiple projects that they're managing or they're running, and they are not 100%, they're not sure of what to do sometimes. And that will also lead for them you getting a sign off from them or a buy-in from them because they don't want to put rubber stamp something that they're not 100% sure of. So in those situations, I've experienced a few of them in different projects in different organizations that I've worked with. What I do, I work with the designer at the point. I will write those requirements or the requirements that the business already, the high-level requirements that I have for the business. And I create more like a mock-up, a visuals, because sometimes I see some stakeholders that are not too technical. And so those ones, and again, they're not technical, but they don't want to read all the documents. They just want an overview of what is happening, what's the end goal, where they fit in or where they sit in. So I work with the UX designer to get some mock-ups and say, this is what we're trying to create. The user can come, this is how it's going to look like. The look and feel, it might change, but the core adaptation is going to be the same. Create a PowerPoint presentation slide for them and a slide deck. And then I arrange a meeting and then play back to them. If they don't attend, and I tell them, this is what's going to happen, this is how it's going to be. When you finish, get back to me and let me know your feedback. And sometimes I put it in the time box that I want to have it in the next week or in the next 5 days or 5 working days because I need to progress with it. So you let me know and I do a chase up. So some of them visuals do help. PowerPoint slide and send those, and then they will do. And also that PowerPoint slide, not because I've created it for one set of stakeholders, I can reuse it multiple times in the sense that your developers don't really understand the word for word that you've written on your user stories or the business requirement. Once I've written those ones, I start screen grabbing from one PowerPoint slide to meet each user story or the requirement that I need to achieve, and I pin a visual to which is I already got from my slide deck. That way, when I'm doing a refinement session, it's easier for me to say, this is what it's going to look, this is what I'm trying to achieve, and this is how it's going to be looking like. This is the visual representation of it. So again, when a stakeholder from the business side of it or the client side of it is not too technical and they don't understand it, visual help them to see the reason. You walk them through it from slide 1 to slide 10 or whatever slide you have, so they can now see how or what you're trying to achieve or what the business is trying to achieve. That way they can have an overview. If they have any question, they'll put a question, or if they need to clear clarification from people above, they can ask them and then get back to you within your time box that you do that. And like I said, you can always use that same slide deck and replicate it with other stakeholders, especially the developers, which makes it easier for when it comes to your refinement time with the developers for them to start hard coding those requirements.
Fantastic, thank you. I think you've nailed it by using the word visuals. I think it's very, very important to use visuals to interpret and manage situations where your stakeholders or where stakeholders are unsure and they are not clear, fully clear about the requirements. And the visuals will always help, because at that point, once you go away and you put it in a mock-up or a diagram and then you come back, at that point you start giving them further ideas and clarity on how they want a particular solution to be, or requirements to be delivered. So it's really, really good. Thank you. And then because of time, I know we don't have lots of time. We only have 30 minutes for this. And I know you have other things you want to do anyway as well. So thank you. I'm going to move into diaspora experience now. So in terms of as a Black professional, black tech professional. Have you ever faced any issue or challenges because of your identity? Have you ever faced any issue when you are eliciting requirements from other races?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I have my one of my companies that I work with. I can't mention the name for you.
Yeah.
There we had a lot of group of people from one region of the world, and it got so bad that when we're having a stand-up, they switched from general English that everybody speaks and understands, because I was the only black person within that team, and I'm the only person that is not from the country. So they just go into their local dialect, and once that happens, I just end the call and I just leave the call. The challenge is there. Sometimes it has its ups and good days and bad days. That's how I put it. In a way, it taught me that they look after their own, and sometimes we black don't look after our own. And it makes me wonder if we can ever get to that point that we'll be looking after our own while we're in a place of work, rather than compete with ourselves when we're at work. But it was difficult. So when I looked at it, at the way they helped themselves, their own, and I said, wish we could all get there and we could all work together. Ultimately, my philosophy in life has always been one team. There's no I in team. We work for the same company. We get paid for the same paycheck from the same company's paycheck. But I found it quite hostile because, again, being a human being, being a black person in an environment where you feel that you can see that it was being hostile, I had to decide to move. But I told myself that was the lesson that I learned, that I don't back down because of someone else's race. They're celebrating their race and their culture. That's all fair and good. I need to start celebrating myself. But the lesson I learned from that, when I now moved to other places, I decided to speak up and stand up for myself. And not that because I want to be a voice that everybody needs to hear. I just want to make myself so valuable that they will not be able to move me from where I am. And that's the only thing. You grow yourself, you increase your knowledge, you grow your expertise, grow in your field of study. Whatever it is, read more, learn more, widen your knowledge base, broaden yourself, take on projects that people are running away from, and then just dip your head in there and say, you know what, I'm going to make it work. And that way you become so valuable to the team and to the organization that they can't just put you aside. I chickened out in the first one because I thought my race was part of a problem. Yes, it might have been, but I could have used my race to my advantage, and I didn't. So the lesson I learned from that was make yourself much more valuable in wherever you are, regardless of who is around you. Remove the noise. Again, part of our business and being a business analyst, block away the noise and focus on the things that you need to focus on. And that was how I've grown from ever since.
Brilliant, thank you. I think that's from another angle actually that you've come from. So it's good that you've learned your lesson. You had that experience because failure or setbacks or failure is part of the process to success. So you learned from it. And the good thing is you built your confidence now, your voice, you're talking, you're engaging, you're not intimidated anymore, which is really great. Because I also remember those days, of course, when you first started, but grown from there and then you've learned. And it has helped you because you've added a lot of value to, I would say, UK economy, in fact, global economy. You've added a lot of value as well, so which is really, really good. Then I think you've answered the other question that I was going to ask around how did you then build your trust in terms of credibility with diverse stakeholders. So you've answered in terms of you've learned from your mistakes and then you've built your confidence. Or do you want to say something?
Yeah, we regards to that, one more thing I need to add, and one caveat I need to put out there for all of us business analysts, old, new, young, upcoming, and experts in the field. Your place of work is not a place for relationship. I'll say it again. Where you're working is not a place of relationship. Friendship will come out of that place, definitely. You might have one or two persons that you're very fond of you and enjoys working with you. But don't go there with that notion that you're trying to build friends at your place of work. You're there to do a job that you're paid to do. Keep it professional, stick with the program. When you have that mindset, friendship comes after. It's a byproduct of you doing what you know how to do as best as you know how to do it. Some people get that notion that, oh, when I go there, I need to have this office politics play. No, stay as far as you can away from the office politics. Do your job. The politics comes to you, because once you're valuable to them, they will want to keep you, and everybody will want to associate with you. That's where the friendship comes. But if you're going around looking for friendship and not doing the job, it's going to be a problem. Like I said earlier, improve yourself, learn, read, diversify your skill set, do things that are not common to you. Get yourself out of your comfort zone and make yourself valuable, and make yourself visible and valuable. That's how I say. And then the friendship will come. But don't go there with the intention of making friends. No, it's not. You're there to do a job. You're there to be paid, and that's what you need to do. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So you're not at work to build friends. You're at work to go to actually do your job and deliver your deliverables, which is really good. And from what you said, I just wrote something that said, value does not look at races.
No.
So if you're valuable at work, you will always be respected. And that's how you command respect. It's about adding value to your organization, to your team. But regardless of what your race is, if you don't add value, then you face challenges, you start facing problems, regardless of what the race is. So I'm really happy that you've grown. And one other thing that I want to say, is just to say thank you for mentoring many people, having impact. You've mentored a lot and lots of people, and then you've added a lot of value to many people as well in terms of mentoring and supporting them to transition into tech as well after your success. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for giving me the platform. If I hadn't learned from you and the other guys that held my hand at the time, I've always been a firm believer of giving back. Whatever you've learned is not for you alone. You need to share and let everybody grow. And that's where Avenue Impact just came into it. And then you gave me that platform to learn and grow. I'm not going to hold it to myself. I need to give back to people, because I see that if we spread the knowledge base, we all grow together. I don't need to work in the same industry as you do for me to grow with you, but we grow individually. And when we come around the next few years, we'll say, oh yes, we met here, and this is what we can share stories and swap stories. But thank you for helping me grow.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And finally, I always ask this question: what advice do you have for aspiring Black professionals, whether in the diaspora or back in Africa, wants to also excel in requirement elicitation and also business analysis or project management? So what advice would you give anyone? I know, of course, from your experience, a lot of people will have learned what you've, in terms of confidence and being an authority now. So are there any other advice you want to give aspiring project?
There's one key advice I always give anybody that wants to go into tech. Learn to enjoy the job. Don't run after tech because you think, oh, it's the black gold for now. No. Learn to enjoy the job. Enjoy being in tech. Enjoy the sitting requirement. Enjoy having conversations with CEOs. And one thing that I've used that always helped me is that when I'm eliciting requirement, when I'm gathering requirement, I do not look at people's title, because it might give you stage fright. I see them for who they are, human beings. Respect them. Treat them cordially. They are professionals. Be professional and ask the question. Don't look at their title, and enjoy the work. When you enjoy the work, you'll be surprised that you'll be talking to the owner, the founder of the company, but the person is down to earth talking to you. Enjoy the job, then whatever comes out of it, you will also enjoy the benefits of it. The remuneration being the pay package or the bonuses, whatever comes out of it, that is secondary. The first thing is enjoy doing it. Love your job, enjoy the environment, and then you will thrive. Don't look after the money or the remuneration. Focus on the job first, and then other things will fall in place.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy the guys, enjoy the job, especially if you're eliciting requirements. Make sure you enjoy the process. Don't look at people's title. Of course, that's also very important, but just make sure that you enjoy the process, as Mr. Paul has said. And of course, the word of your enjoyment, then you start reaping the benefits from accolades, from feedback, from other people's testimonials. It makes you feel good once you start adding value to your organization and you start getting those feedback, from stakeholders. So enjoy the process, very important. So thank you. And it is Black Tech Voices, guys. And we have with us, we've enjoyed Mr. Paul, Gabriel. We've enjoyed his experience and his knowledge that is shared with us today. So I want to say a big thank you to you for coming around and joining us tonight. I'm sure that next time we're going to come back again with Black Tech Voices and look at other topics, other valuable and beneficial topics to everybody. So thank you and God bless. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Black Tech Voices.